What's up, everybody? It's DJSTiKBoy, and I just got back from Utah, and I snowboarded there for the first time ever. When I grew up in Colorado, snowboarding and skiing was a huge, huge part of my life, and I live in the Midwest now, and there's not a whole lot of places to snowboard, so I'm very lucky to have been able to go out there and snowboard it for the first time. And there's a lot of things that I didn't really realize about Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is like right next to the mountains. I never paid attention to like a topographical map that would indicate like the location of the city versus the mountains. It is absolutely astonishing. There's nowhere you can go in Salt Lake City that doesn't have a view of a mountain range. It is phenomenal. I mean, the airport alone is only 40 minutes away from the many resorts that they have in Utah. I had an absolute blast. As you can tell, my face is sunburnt from my goggles. I didn't wear sunscreen, which was silly because every time I go up into altitude, I sort of forget that there's different rules with altitude. Like, altitude just has like a higher effect of the sun on your skin. You got to protect yourself. You get burnt a lot easier up there. It's kind of like being at the beach, which is really funny. Like on opposite ends of the spectrum, you just get fried to a crisp. But I went up there for a bachelor party. It was absolutely awesome. I mean, we had some drinks. We had some good snow. We stayed at this amazing cabin up there. It was great. And one thing I noticed by spending a little bit of time in Utah is that at one point in my life, I would have never considered living in Utah, ever. I would not have considered it. And after this short stint there, it has moved up in the rankings for, like, as a place to live. You know, it's actually so cool that, like, there's the city, which doesn't really get a ton of snow at all. Like, when I was there, there was no snow on the ground in the city. But you drive 20 minutes and then you've got, like, snow-capped mountains and decent snowboarding and skiing. It was fantastic. I was impressed by the state as a whole. And, you know, Post Malone moved out to Utah a couple years ago, and I was like, why is this guy moving to Utah? This guy's living an incredible life, like, just balling out, you know, making millions and millions of dollars. Why is he centered in Utah? And I totally get it now. I totally get it. It's a beautiful location that not a whole lot of people know about. People are moving there slowly but surely. I've heard that there's some people migrating there from California and other places in the country. But he did like an interview where he was like, yeah, so I just saw Utah and I bought a house here. I actually drove past his house. It's this huge property right at the mouth of the canyon there. And it's like crazy that I never would have thought that that's actually like a livable place. I don't know why I had this misunderstanding, because the rest of Utah is like nothing. It's like glorified Wyoming for the rest of the state. But, you know, sometimes those states sometimes those areas make that whole state sort of shine in a way. Like Wyoming, you know, it's basically open plains, but, you know, Yellowstone and Jackson Hole up in the northwestern corner of the state just sort of makes the trip to Wyoming like so valuable. Now, I wouldn't live in Wyoming, but I would actually live in like Salt Lake City. I wouldn't become Mormon or anything, but like the coolest part about all this is that, you know, I'd opened my eyes to a new place. I don't know. And I just kind of felt like sharing that with you guys, because Utah's fucking cool. It's a great place. I'm going to go back to snowboard again. That is all. Subscribe to the channel. Watch me on Twitch. Links in description. Let's go.